with Mr. Ball, though. It sounds like you're saying that indeed Albany is broken, or at least was broken. Do you agree that Albany is broken and needs to be fixed?
Albany needs leadership that can come together in the crisis. Mr. Ball has already set his groundwork. He is a divisive politician. He used fear-mongering and intimidation to get people out. He appeals to the lowest base of people's fears. That is totally unacceptable.
You know,
we need people that are capable of putting party politics aside and getting the job done.
Mr. Ball, you deserve, if you prefer
I think that the people of this district, Janine, now know why John Degnan hates Greg Ball. And they spent $500,000 running a campaign based on an I Hate Greg Ball platform, running on until now an I Hate Greg Ball party. The people of this district deserve real leadership on real issues, whether it be my bill, which was to provide tuition to combat veterans, which became law, or the bill that I work with Amy Paulin to close a loophole in the human trafficking law, or the property tax cap bill, which is now gaining steam.
Brought me to the next question. Where do you stand on this property tax cap?
I support a property tax cap as well as part of a comprehensive bill that would also be part of a circuit breaker, which would link the school tax bill to income and one's ability to pay, as well as eliminating all unfunded mandates. The tax cap is thrown around, but it's part of a comprehensive bill, and if we pass that, what Massachusetts did just a decade or so ago, that will be the most important thing that we can do for the constituents in this district. You know, at least 70% of each individual's tax bill is that school tax bill. It's the most important issue. And as far as being divisive, John, sure, I went up there and I upset Sheldon Silver. And when I go back, I'm going to step on his toes harder than I ever had. And if more people stepped on Sheldon Silver's toes and Skelis's toes, we'd get more done. We don't need a collegial environment where you try to be chummy-chummy so you get more member items or you get more grant items or they give you a bigger office. We need people to go to Albany or Willen and put it on the line for the people of this district and this state and fight for them.
Mr. Degnan, your take on the property tax cap and, more importantly, that education aid formula that, despite all the good efforts of the Westchester delegations to try to get it changed for years, it hasn't happened. Will you be able to get that formula changed? And where do you stand on this cap?
First and foremost, I am in favor of cutting taxes, not putting a cap on taxes that guarantees they'll go up. The way it's written right now in the Assembly, we're looking at a 4% cap, which, if it doesn't hit that cap in a given year, the addition can be added in the next year. It doesn't include the cost of transportation. It doesn't include the cost of special education. It does not include the cost of capital improvements. Mr. Ball has been on record saying he supports this. It represents a tax increase. We are in economic crisis and we must cut our spending. That is the hard truth, whether it is at the local level or the federal level. Mr. Ball has not demonstrated that. He talks about being against pork spending. Mr. Ball has accepted over $250,000 in the last 2 years in member items. I say that leadership needs to go to Albany, set the stage as a leader, and say to people, you know what? It may not be all that much a part of a $127 billion budget, but it leads by example. So for instance, Sandy Galiff, our assembly person over in western Putnam County, she hasn't accepted member items. And I've heard Mr. Ball criticize her. I know that he's accepted them, and I know when I listened to him 3 years ago at a debate in a temple up in Yorktown, that he said he would not accept member items.
That's a lie.
So Mr. Ball talks in terms of being a reformer, but at the end of the day, he's just like everybody else, and it's time for change.
All right, Mr. Ball, your response to that, but there is validity to the fact that nothing really has gotten done positively.
Look, I mean, nobody's a bigger critic of Albany than me. Right?
That's
I am one member.
True.
I'm one member out of 150. If it were up to Greg Ball, if I could wave my magic wand that I keep in my closet, we would have a property tax cap. We'd free school taxes for seniors. We'd have a statewide autism insurance bill. The death penalty would become law. We would go after contractors to hire illegal aliens. But I'm not, right? But what has happened is, because people like me have stood up, because every day I stand up in that chamber, I have literally killed bills on the floor of the Assembly, standing toe-to-toe with Sheldon Silver. We've put the pressure on the people of this district, of this, you know, we had the tax cap express that went up to Albany. We put the pressure on the people, the folks in Albany who make the decisions. And finally, what we're seeing is, since Star, we actually have a bill that passed the Senate, a tax cap bill, and we have a circuit breaker bill that passed the Assembly. Now, we need to pull those two bills together. If we pull those two bills together, and he says he's for cutting taxes. Every politician around election year says, I'm for cutting taxes, I'm for cutting taxes. Do they ever do it? The property tax cap bill, which was instituted in Massachusetts, they were number 1 in the nation overall tax burden. They instituted a tax cap. They went to being number 23 or 24 in overall tax burden. A tax cap gets spending in line, John. You didn't read the bill. Maybe you should read the bill.
So, for instance, Mr. Bill makes a reference to Massachusetts. What he hasn't told people is, and we know, that Massachusetts increased the cost of education on a statewide basis by billions of dollars. Mr. Ball says that this bill will guarantee that the money spent last year will be carried forward this year from the state. But the deal is, state's going to have to step up. Mr. Ball is espousing a program that will include increased state spending, and it needs to be stopped. We need to focus on cutting spending and then tax reform.
Right. You're saying that the state will have to lay out more if the municipalities don't.
That's exactly right.
Janine, the property tax cap bill ensures that the prior year's funding remains constant. Not only that, there's flexibility in the model for uncontrollable costs. So the reality is, John, once again, whoever's the senator's giving your talking point,
guaranteeing that taxes will go up with the property tax cap. That's what it guarantees.
Calm down, John.
All right, John, we only have about 2 minutes left. We only have about 2 minutes left. I'm going to give you about a minute each. Mr. Ball, tell the people at home why you should be reelected to your seat.
The 18 minutes went already?
Yeah, almost.
I got to tell you, this is the toughest business in the world, and the reality is that for 2 years I fought. Again, my heart, the blood, sweat, and tears to the people of this district. I will go back and I'll fight as I have done before. The most important thing we can do is issue in comprehensive school tax reform, and that's what I will fight for every single day of the next 2 years. And we need more individuals in Albany who are fighting for the rank and file members of this district, not Wall Street, but the people who are having a tough time putting food on the table, sending their kids to college, people like my family. And that's what I promised to do. I've stood up to the power brokers, and I've upset some of the most powerful people in this state. And because of that, I have a mark on my back the size of Texas, but I wear it like a badge of honor. My opponent is merely an angry sock puppet for some very powerful people. I look forward to seeing you in November. Thank you, and God bless.
All right, Mr. Degnan, you get the next minute.
Courtesy, professionalism, leadership, results. That's what I've got under my belt as my record. Mr. Ball talks a game. Let's see the results. Check his record. We know he takes member items. We know he's voted for unfunded mandates. I say bring it back to the fundamentals. Self-reliance, home ownership, education, and a decent job. Set the goals in a way where we can state them very simply and then get to the hard work, the complexity of cutting spending, coming up with an energy policy that works, and recognizing at the end of the day, property tax reform is the #1 concern on the voters in the 99th Assembly District. So you do have a choice come November. You've got a guy that dresses and talks the part. He brings drama and hyperbole to every conversation that he gets involved in. But the bottom line is, vote for Degnan. You won't be disappointed because we're talking about results.
All right, John Degnan, Greg
Pleasure.
Ball, I wish you both the best of luck in November. Thank you very much for being with us. Good luck to both of you. I want to tell our viewers that, yes, big election day, November 4th. News 12 will be following all the developments between now and then for you. Keep it here to News 12 for all your local news.